couple points that I want to touch on that our opponent has raised. Firstly, you heard the number of $36.2 billion in interest that's being paid every year by the federal government to subsidize student loans. I didn't hear any evidence on that. I don't know how credible a source that came from. I'd be interested in knowing how realistic that is. You also heard the question, why would we give all this money to people who can't pay it back? As I asked earlier, several of you have some sort of federal assistance that's helping you get through school. I'm sure you'll remember, or your parents at least will remember, going through an application process, getting all sorts of paperwork in, doing a FAFSA, all that paperwork that's involved with applying for student loans, whether public or private, is to ensure that the people that are receiving the money will, in the end, be able to pay it back. Yes, there is a higher default rate on student loans over credit card debt, but the implication that was made is that that default means that the federal government doesn't get that money back. But as you already heard, even declaring bankruptcy doesn't relieve an individual from being able to, it does not excuse them of that debt. They still have to pay it back. Student loans are a special category of debt that bankruptcy will not wipe away. That money will get paid back. The federal government and we as the taxpayers will get that money back. It just likely will not be through the same process if someone defaults and then has to go to collections. So those are some items that I think cast a little doubt on some of our opponent's points. Also, we're obviously here in a California public institution of higher learning, and that's likely coloring our opponent's view of some of these tuition increases. The College Board, in their Trends in College Pricing 2011 edition, pointed out that in the 2011-2012 school year, that California's tuition and fee increases spiked significantly higher than the national average. As you probably are all very well aware, tuition and fee increases at public four-year universities in California increased 21% and increased 37% for public two-year colleges, and those colored the averages nationwide significantly. The national averages are much lower. For the public four-year, this is from the same College Board publication, for the public four-year colleges, it was only a 7% increase in tuition across the nation. And then when you factor California into that, it spikes up another 1.3%. So let's not let the fact that we're in California and at a public university color our opinion of this issue. Also, as we've talked about, there's this discrepancy between public and private tuition rates, and private schools typically are more expensive for both tuition fees and room and board. But also, the College Board tells us that in 2011-2012, full-time undergraduate students at private, not-for-profit four-year institutions received approximately $15,530 in grant aid from all sources, including federal aid and tax benefits, as opposed to the only $5,750 of grant aid that undergraduate students at public four-year institutions received. So some of that disparity is offset by the additional grant money that's available to private schools. It's about a $10,000 increase in grant money that they can receive. Thank you.